Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, this is Matt with Titan Terrain Studio. This is the first hangout that we're doing for our monthly Terrain Incorporated. Tonight we have Terrainaholic, which everybody should know. If you don't know him, you have been hiding under a rock somewhere for the last who knows how long.
Whatever you do, don't start at my beginning videos. You'll never make it, trust me.
Then we also have the Terrain Tutor, who is up at an insanely late hour in the UK.
Oh, ridiculously early in the UK. 3 a.m. here, but I am alive, I am awake, and I am raring. Don't know what I'll be like in an hour, though, gents.
And then we have, as always, the awesome Chung, who actually looks like Les Bursley on his tag right now.
Yeah, I'm less tonight. So.
Smurf.
Okay. This is a WGC live show, so this will occur once a month on Sundays, and we'll be going over various topics each month. You can also comment below if you want to request certain topics for future monthly hangouts that we get together and do. And we'll also be inviting other terrain crafters on YouTube to join us from month to month. Though these gentlemen here will probably be the main guys from here on in.
I'm not working, I'll try and be here.
Not me,
right.
man. I'm
If
just here
not
for the
sleeping,
food.
I will.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go over what kind of topics we're going to go over. First thing we're going to go over is what got us into terrain. Then we're going to talk about our first terrain builds. What kind of basic tools people need to get started in terrain, assuming that you're just complete entry level, new to terrain, haven't read any articles, the whole 9 yards. And then we'll finish it up with a Q&A. So if you do have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the comments below, and we will answer them after we get done going over the first 3 topics. So with that, let's go ahead and start with what got us into terrain. Who would like to go first?
Oh, it's got to have to be Bill, hasn't it? Age before beauty.
Oh, okay.
Out for that, yeah. Go for it.
I would say about 4 years ago, I don't even know how I ran across YouTube, but I ran across YouTube. I had been collecting figures since forever, like all of us, I'm sure. And I had started making some of my own basic terrain, and I started selling a little bit on eBay. And then I found YouTube, and I ran across Blue Table Painting, I ran across the Kamloopian, and I ran across Mini Wargaming. And it really was, I'd have to say, the Kamloopian that inspired me the most, as he's strictly terrain. And I proceeded to lose my job 2 weeks after I started my first video, and I'm like, what am I going to do? I'll try and make a living at terrain. Did an absolutely horrible job of making a living at it, but I gained my following because every day I would put out a video of what I was doing, and my channel just grew. So that's pretty much my story.
Awesome.
Right.
Mel, do you want to go next?
Yeah, well, actually, mine started a long time ago. My mum was a single mum, and so she had a craft shop. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And I spent most of my summers as a child sitting in a craft shop. Because obviously, you know, we lived in Wales, there wasn't many places I could go, so I spent most of my time in the craft shop. And you got the old boys coming in with the railways and that sort of stuff. And I used to make little things from, for my toy soldiers. And that's what really sort of got me interested in crafting, you know, terrain and that sort of stuff. But it wasn't until I got to about 14, 15 when I started playing Warhammer. And I was playing Warhammer Fantasy Battle. I got a couple of mates interested, but we didn't have a table, so I said, right, I'm going to have to build terrain. And this was back in the days where you couldn't buy it. And I built this hill, and it was a white polystyrene hill. And I can remember seeing somewhere that you've got to cover it in plaster bandage to make it hard.
Mm-hmm.
So I did. But I didn't know how much, so I must have put about 20 layers of plaster bandage onto this hill. Okay, this damn hill was indestructible. I mean, I painted it, yeah, with the only green paint I had, which was gloss.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and then for the next sort of 10 years of my life, in my life there existed this massive two-tier green plaster bandage hill, which was nigh on indestructible, so much to the extent that when I discovered sort of, you know, booze and squaddying and girls and that sort of stuff, I still kept the hill as a step to get into the top of my wardrobe.
Oh, that's funny.
That's great.
And I am 100% sure.
Multi-purpose terrain, that is the definition of multi-purpose terrain.
Oh, mate. I am guaranteed in a million years when the planet Earth is just dust, yeah, in the middle of some great expanse of desert, there will be a green gloss plaster bandage hill. But that's how I got into it. How I got into the YouTube thing was, this is a bit personal for me to be truthful, but it's 3 a.m. I'm bollocks, so. But how does what you call it? How does Dan Fethit, that's how Dan Abnett does it. Basically, guys, I used to work in quite a high-profile corporate job, and I had a meltdown, absolute meltdown. At the same time, my wife decided she wanted to go study. She's a tattooist, so, you know, we have a good income coming into the house. The pressure was off me, you know, survival-wise.
Nice.
And I just thought, you know, I've spent, what, 15, 16 years, you know, living the corporate life, you know, good money, never seeing the kids, you know, even on holidays, the phone's always going, always working. And I just thought, you know what, I'm going to be a stay-at-home dad. And she says, well, you can't just be a stay-at-home dad. I'll send you up the wall. And she says, well, what are you going to do? I'm going to make a terrain channel. Yeah, and she's like, you what? I was like, trust me. And here I am.
There you are.
That's how I got here and how I ended up on YouTube. Basically, a massive meltdown, and I've gone back to the good life. I'm going to start getting chickens and stuff and, you know, rear my own pig for bacon.
We actually have, I need to put them on the video, we have Titan terrain chickens in the backyard.
Titan terrain chickens.
Chickens in your backyard?
Yes, we call them the attack chickens because if you go outside, they come running up going, food?
So go on then.
And it's not because you play cricket.
in it?
No, it's because the people I rent from have a bunch of chicken coops, so we get all organic eggs. It's awesome.
Nice.
See, we had chickens at one point when we lived in Wales, yeah? We had 4 chickens, and the reason we had them is because we promised the cousins, the nephews sort of thing, that they could have a chicken when they came up to ours, and we went off to find these chickens, and they named them Drumstick,
and then ate them.
Tandoori. What was the other one? Drumstick, Tandoori. One was named Socks, and another one was named after a particular food. You know, and I just looked at these chickens like, you're going in the pot.
Up there. I mean, like, Spud has chicken somewhere.
In his belly.
I mean, you guys up in Britain have chickens everywhere, it seems.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, it's going back to the peasant time when we weren't allowed to own anything more.
Back when you bought your fingers with chicken.
No, I mean,
America.
You look, what you call it? You've got to remember, a lot of British psyche, I mean, you're going back to when, you know, we had World War II, you know, we had rationing, you know, and everyone had chickens, and that's still socially acceptable, you know, small farm animals in an urban environment is actually acceptable because it sort of harks back to that era.
Sure.
Okay, so,
go with it.
Chung, your turn.
How many chickens do you have, Chung?
I don't have any chickens. I'd get arrested if I had chickens here.
Come on.
See, you can't be a proper terrain builder without chickens, mate.
I have a cat. A nasty cat.
Did you choke your chicken?
Oh, God, Bill.
Oh, and the sexual innuendo has begun. We are officially...
And
that wasn't even innuendo.
I started.
Oh, jeez. I don't know. I didn't really get started in terrain. My very first time doing terrain went for wargaming, for Warhammer. It wasn't War Machine back then. Was just taking rocks from my garden, my mom's garden, and clipping branches off the orange trees and scotch taping it to another rock so they'll hold down and stand up at the same time. And just a bunch of stuff that we could just pick off the street. That was our terrain. That's how we did. And a bunch of like stackable styrene stuff that looked like buildings if you stack enough of it on high. But it did not really come up to scale. We just stacked them really high because we used to play BattleTech and we used to jump our mechs off of them, off the thing.
God,
BattleTech's something else.
Bottles, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I didn't really get more into it until, the whole getting back into this stuff and started, the channel and stuff, and then I just started to get more, into it, and then watching you guys get into it, and watching you guys, weave art out of foam, so, per se, kind of thing.
You obviously haven't been watching my channel, mate.
No, I watch your channel. No. Dude, your latest video, man, the one where you do... Oh, no, wait. No. What was the one that... little patches, those grass patches, man. Those are cool.
Oh, yeah, the latex.
Yeah, the latex patches. I was like, oh, shit, I remember make some of that shit.
I remember you doing it's not foam board. You were doing some foam board building, weren't you?
Oh, it's still here. It's staring at me constantly. It's got a
layer.
layer.
Oh, tell me about it.
I picked up like
8 years ago, still staring at me.
Oh, mate, it's sort of staring at me. The moment you finish this Mantic build, mate, I'm back on your table. Right now, I'm dreaming about Mantic battle zones.
Nice.
Okay, so I guess it's time for me to... This is actually kind of amusing how I got into terrain. It was actually because I was really, really poor when I got into 40K. I started playing Dawn of War. Like, I was addicted to the first Dawn of War, but I couldn't get a computer that could run it. It's like I'd start a mission, I'd get really, really into it, and then crash.
Oh, that sucks.
So then I eventually found out there was the miniatures game, so I got Necrons, and I somehow finagled a couple friends into it, and then the problem was I was working third shift, and all the game stores closed at like 8 o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we were never getting games in. We were all night owls, so I just bought like 6 galvanized steel buckets and a piece of particle board, cut it down the middle, and stuck it behind my couch when we weren't using it. And then we needed terrain, so I got cardboard from 3 a.m. at Walmart. And
there you go.
Started.
All a DM Scotty.
Yeah,
you had to buy cardboard. That's funny.
No, I didn't buy it. I went in and...
Who buys cardboard?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. It's just...
Then just a hot glue gun and some textured spray paint. I didn't even paint it other than that. It looked good enough. I created a bunch of ruined buildings and some really horrible attempts at some Tyranid terrain because a friend of mine played Tyranids. And I even created like a huge fortress. It was way too big. It was something like 16 by 16 inches. There was just
God,
huge orc fortress. I'll have to get a picture and post it on my Facebook because that
your army ended up running around the whole big thing.
We actually had a house that if you went in through the front door, you could come out on any of the next 2 tiers because they all had doors.
Oh, okay.
I spray painted it gold. But yeah, that was my first things that got me into terrain, and then I just ended up working at a game store later that needed it, and that's how I got started.
They wanted a gold 16-inch wide.
No, that was just me building something to play with my friends and going, I'm playing orcs now, so I want something orky. And then I also built like a little tower.
That is orky, because orky is non-standard, and that is very non-standard, so I applaud you.
Most of the time we just sat it in the middle of the table and just said, this thing's just going to sit there because no one wants to move their troops onto it. Even though it had enough room for you to put like 20-man squads of orcs up on the tiers, because it was sort of like a ziggurat in a way, just with
nice
spikes.
Very cool.
All right. So speaking of the first real terrain set I built, let's get to what was our first builds. Who would like to go first on that one?
Oh, I'll go first because it's really short. A rock. All right, I'm done.
How about the first one that we were like emotionally scarred from? Will that work?
That'll work, yeah.
Okay. How's this, guys? Cutting out 5,000 1x1x1 cubes with probably at least another 2,000 or so half by half by ones, and then proceeding to sand all the edges so that it looks like it's been water worn. I put in about 40 hours of sanding before I hot glued 2 things together.
And who helped?
And yes, and I inflicted this on my wife and still have a marriage, which is it shouldn't have occurred.
It's a test.
Yeah, but
That
you're
is-
crazy.
that's-
I'm not surprised
Tell you.
of that coming from you, Bill. I mean, you make really awesome stuff and you come up with awesome, but you spend so much time on it too. So I don't know how you.
Unfortunately.
I think that we've highlighted quite a relevant point here with regards to Sue just shouting up then. And I think it's important to, because I mean, we're terrain builders, yeah. I'm guessing that a lot of the viewers are mainly, gamers, you know, and they're used to working with the models. And the idea of a gamer widow or a Warhammer widow is nothing compared to a terrain widow.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
costs them
my wife
space
has lost her
Oh.
kitchen table for the last 2 weeks. It's
Oh,
covered.
I just cleaned the living room yesterday from where I did a Buffy marathon when I was carving out all the Rivendell walls. There's like little pieces of pink foam all over the carpet and everything.
Oh, yeah.
That's nothing. My
They're
dog
nothing,
is
dude.
covered in white bits.
Bathroom.
Look, watch this. Watch. I'm gonna reach down on my floor and just randomly grab some pieces here that I've been too lazy to pick up. Here's some pink foam. I got more.
Yeah.
Yeah, mate,
I'm
that's no
upstairs.
different
I
than
don't know
me.
how you guys do it. I'm like, I don't want to clean that shit up. I'll just leave it there.
Guys,
Yeah.
that's no different than me.
It's gonna get
I
dirty
work
in
in my living room.
Sand on the table.
I have sand everywhere. Does that count?
Okay. What's the worst annoying thing for the wives you think you do? My wife.
I think.
hates
Well,
works-
you have to get one first.
Oh.
That's it.
Sean, can you really hold yourself down to just one? I mean, come on, dude.
Yeah, you know that
The
smile.
mighty
That
tongue,
cheeky
man. I can't
smile.
be strong with just one woman, man. I just can't.
Nah,
gotta-
nah,
you gotta-
nah.
Yeah,
Two
but you know
arms,
what?
gotta-
Bill has the advantage, man. He drafts his wife into everything he does.
She is the terrain minion.
Yeah.
She is the terrain minion. You are right.
Who, me?
Yup, you.
I don't have a choice. If I
It
want
sounds
to-
better than terrain slave.
If I want
Yeah.
to play games, I have to help.
True.
You got it
Very
wrong, guys.
true.
You need to get the
Or
kid
me.
into making terrain, and then the wife follows.
We actually split the work up about 50-50 on eBay. We know each step who does what, and then it just gets done. It's really awesome.
For the most
Nice.
Well, yeah. But we still have a marriage, which is amazing.
I've
So,
got to
Mel.
say- Go on.
Other than your amazing, indestructible space-age green hill, what was your first serious terrain build?
To be truthful, it was a simple collection of hills and 2 woods, but
Mhm.
that's because they were the sort of basics required, you know, to play Warhammer. I mean, back in the time, you were talking the 3rd edition had just come out, or 4th, and I think that was the start of the actual box set with the cardboard buildings in. So you got like you got a cottage, you got a church, I think you got a defensive tower. So other than just literally, you know, it wasn't hot glue, I think it was PVA, but other than PVAing those onto some cardboard bases and making some basic hills and nipping down the railway shop and picking up some simple trees, gluing them down, that was my first build, and it was very much, it was a case of, I didn't want to build a table, I needed a table, and that sort of dictated, you know, you looked in the rule book and it sort of said on deployment, hill in this corner, wood in this bit, you know, these were the options you rolled for, and so you just fulfilled the options you needed to play your game.
Yeah.
So it was very simple stuff. It was only after sort of further on I started building terrain sets for the sake of building. I want this environment to play in. Do you know what I mean? It was that was when it changed, where the table dictated the game and the environment rather than the game dictating what terrain I need to make.
Yeah.
It's a big shift.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, basically, I painted up an Imperial Guard, sort of city fight army, and realised I didn't have a city.
That is a problem, and
It is.
I'm assuming you solved it by building a city?
Yeah, and I painted it exactly the same colours as my Guard army, so they are actually camouflaged.
Nice.
Well, that's cool.
Use entire units in that thing.
That is brilliant.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my first proper terrain build. So one was dictated by the needs of being a gamer and not a terrain builder, and then the second was more like this is the environment I want to create. I want big ass church, and I want multi-tiered level buildings, and I want people going round corners, and I want nothing solid. Everything is ruins. It's 40k.
Everything is destroyed and has had its property value dropped drastically in the last 10 minutes.
And it's gorgeous in a sick sort of way.
It is. Okay, so my first real terrain build was for my old game store that I worked at called Amazing Wonders. It was located in Lexington, Kentucky, my hometown. This place was like my home away from home. I think I spent more time there than I did at my apartment. And when they first got started, no one was really grabbing the reins of 40K. So me and one other guy kind of grabbed it. He did more of the organization, and I did more of the teach people how to put things together without making you cringe. So we needed terrain, and we'd gotten a couple realms of battle, and we put them together. Then one of the things I was big on was we needed something to make us stand out a little from the other game stores. Because we had this other place called Battleforge, which is also awesome. That had to this day, I have never seen that much terrain in a game store as I saw at the Battleforge. I mean, you're talking it's like I think it's like a 40 by 40 room with shelves all the way from floor to ceiling full of terrain, all on one wall.
Wow.
Yeah, like 12 tables in the place. It's huge. So I ended up building
Nice.
an 8-foot by 4-foot apocalypse-capable city board that had a series of highways. So you had a main highway going straight through the center, and then you had two highways going from side to side, and they had like craters.
Elevated?
Huh? Yeah, the highways were elevated, and they had mirrors. And if I went back and did it, I would have make it not so linear and so square, because it blocked it to where you could just predict how many inches you were away from the center or any point, because it was almost like grid.
Now, was the distance calling, was that a standard mechanic in the game?
No, that was just me building my first train set and going just measuring this stuff out and building it that way, not realizing what kind of effect it would have on the gameplay. It basically let Assault
Fire or something.
Yeah,
like
Assault
Fire templating stuff. Gotcha.
The original plan was to have 4 tiles per zone. Each zone was going to be basically city fight. It was going to be packed to where you had enough room to get a land raider between the buildings. And then we realized, after I built 12 ruined tiles and 4 ruined buildings, that we had no room to put all this terrain in the store. So yeah, that was interesting. I ended up using way too much expensive stuff on that too. Like I was using all Woodland Scenics brand stuff, and
yeah.
1 second, Matt. Are you clicked on me? Are you focused on me?
Oh,
the stuff's not changing. You just see my ugly ass mug.
All right.
You can have my ugly ass mug.
I will have to remember that.
Yeah, rather swift.
Beautiful ass mug if you want.
Okay, but
You got a much more graceful hairline than mine. I'll take yours.
But mine?
There's a reason for this hat. I'll leave it at that.
Show it with pride, mate. Look at the glare. Look at the glare.
Nah.
Right there.
Gentlemen, I'm just going to step out and mute my mic just for 1 minute because I need a top up on the coffee. You know what I mean? I can see sunlight, guys. The dawn is coming.
Oh man, you gotta wake up early for this, huh?
Oh jeez.
So I'm just stepping out. I will be back in 2 minutes as soon as the kettle's brewed.
Alright.
Sounds good.
I'm out of sets. I don't know. I built like terrain sets for Malifaux, and then that's really easy to do. It's only a 3x3 table, so you do forest. You just make the damn hills, forest hills. Flock it green, and then you wanna make it a desolate land.
Those
and
were in
just
your
make those
videos,
hills.
right? For how to play Malifaux?
Yeah, I think the one how you play Malifaux one has the desert terrain on it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I have all these themes from Malifaux, and then there's a few more extra pieces if I want to expand the board, right? But the main set I'm doing right now, which I guess I could answer John McLeod's question about what happened to the other parts of the modular table I'm building. That would be the full set. That would be my full set of terrain set that I'm going to be making, which is that modular ruined city, Nurgle ruined city table that I'm building. The reason why it got stopped was first of all it was all the stuff that's happening. All the Adepticon came and all these other plans that came, but I'm going to kickstart it again. And it's going to change a little. I was going to make it really modular, but the reason why I didn't do it is because I was talking to another company about doing some stuff of the ideas I had when I was building this thing. So I can't really talk about that. But I'm going to re-kickstart it or restart the video series. Well, not restart it, but part 2 is going to talk about the actual changes that I'm going to be making. But it's going to be a Nurgle ruined city, and I'm going to start working on that video series again for that modular table.
You did a beautiful Nurgle, or not Nurgle, but Tyrannid city not too long ago.
The Tyrannid city? That wasn't me.
No. I'm speaking to Titan. Did you see the one?
Oh, yeah, Titan.
And it had little parts of Tyrannids growing out of the walls. That was amazing.
No, I don't usually watch his videos. I need to go back and watch them.
That set. Here's the interesting story behind that. It used Tyrannid bits, but it was Nurgle. Because he wanted.
Oh, you're kidding!
Yeah, he wanted it based off an anime called Blue Gender. Because one of the things we really specialize in is themed sets off of pop culture and video games.
Sure.
So, because we've done multiple sets for video games and then animes and such, and he wanted xenomorphic Nurgle demons. So I had to figure out how to take Tyranids and turn them into gross, horrible things from beyond the warp.
Nice.
My favorite was the mosquito demon that was sitting in the corner of the ceiling, and there was that Imperial Guardsman just flailing as he was dissolved into acid. That one was fun.
Yeah, you made some nice stuff. That Lord of the Rings table was nice, and also that Noise Marine one that I saw over at BTP when I was there. That's what impressed me. I'm like, well, who made this terrain? And that guy, Matt did, and I had to find Matt. Who the hell was Matt? I didn't know who you were then. So I was looking for that Matt guy. I'm like, who's this Matt guy? This guy got some fucking skills,
That was so awesome about meeting you at Adepticon. It was I finally got to meet you. Because I think
you didn't need him, man. You
starting out at the very first Adepticon. Or 2 years ago or a year ago, right? Because you had come with Sean, right?
No, I didn't get to go to Adepticon this year. I only started working for Blue Table last summer.
That.
No,
right?
I only started working at Blue Table last summer, and then went solo with Titan back in November.
Okay, I'm confusing you with someone else then, because I totally thought that I had talked to you at a point.
You might be thinking of maybe one of the other guys, because there were other people that did terrain there. Like Cameron, Ren, I can't remember his name, but he was the dude with the monocule.
Oh, yes. Remember that boat he made, the orc boat, with the one wheel? The motorcycle wheel in front that turned the whole boat?
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was beautiful.
Is it coffeeed up now, Mel?
Oh, steaming, mate. Steaming. 30 sugars. Right.
So we're going to go ahead and move on to our next topic.
Well, wait, before we do that, let's do a couple of shout-outs here. We got some people, doing some comments. Say hi, like Eric Defoe and Andy2D6.
Andy2D6!
Yes. And I guess it looks like Chilling Wargamers this Thursday is doing a terrain special as well.
Yep,
yes.
I'm going to be on it.
Yeah,
nice.
We're all going to be on it. Yep. Again.
Sweet! That's awesome.
What is it? What do we have? John McLeod, Daniel DePress. All you guys, thanks for joining in. Thanks for watching Weekend Warriors. That's CJ. And then anyone else who didn't say anything, I guess. But thanks for watching anyways.
Yeah,
thanks for coming.
And remember,
so Matt,
love sharing.
If you've got any questions, just go ahead and post them below, and we'll get to them at the end with the Q&A. So just feel free to hit us up, and we'll go through the list. All right, so next topic. This is the big one. What do people need to get started with terrain? Like, if we're talking, we got someone who just bought Dark Vengeance or whatever other starter for other games. Like, they just bought some Eldorado. They just bought a War Machine 2-player starter set. What do they need to build themselves a full table of terrain just to play at their house or their game club?
Rocks from their garden.
Rocks from their garden. You know what? Just throw rocks on your kitchen table.
Oh, the damn rocks on the table.
Yeah, I find digging out, going out with a shovel, picking up a piece of turf, cut it in a roughly round shape, and then if you lay that down, that's a good hill. The benefit of doing that is you can cut out multiple ones and stack them on top of each other for the tiered effect, and at the end of the game, just simply go back and put them in the garden.
There you go. But you gotta pick gloss green.
Oh my god.
Okay, I'm gonna give kind of a weird answer.
Come on, let's give comedy answers first. It's 3 o'clock in the morning,
my
guys.
My weird answer will be this. Going in your newspaper and trying to find a 50% off for Hobby Lobby and a 50% off for Michaels, and then going in there and just looking for what looks cool. I don't care if it's plastic plants, I don't care, if it's foam core, but
or hell, just
get
go
it
to your dollar store
off, and then stuff like that.
I mean, you can look at you pick up strainers, paint them up, they'll become like bunker domes.
Dollar stores are awesome.
Yeah, dollar stores are awesome. I like watching your videos when you go to dollar stores because you come back and I'm like, what the hell is he doing with that?
So I actually have an example sitting right here.
Yeah, I'm banned. Oh, look at that.
Ooh, shiny.
That is.
Let me have a look on it.
This is an
I
aquarium.
love your collar.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? Those aquarium things are kind of expensive, man.
They are, but I mean, if you're looking for someone who's just wants something that's already
they usually mark them down to 50% off, and that's when I get that kind of stuff.
You can also Amazon
wait
a lot cheaper.
This isn't moving and it's cool, so I'll buy it now.
The other good way to get started is really easy and really cheap is finding like a laser cut shop because they're all over the place, right?
Yeah.
Brush for Hire does a lot of really cool ass shit, right? All you do is take that home and put a protective coat on it or primer it with solvent primer, and then paint it up and you're good. Yeah, that's the easiest way to do it. But I think what Matt meant was what tools do you need to actually build terrain, right?
Yes. If you're gonna build from scratch like we do, if you want to try,
foam's the best friend.
What's that?
Foam board and foam.
Steak knife.
Yep.
Yeah, steak knife.
Mm-hmm. My main tool.
But also, you get the hot tools. You get the ones with the long stick, and then you can get the one that has the claw, or you get the, the table.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think
wire cutting foam table thing.
Just before we sort of start talking, because I mean we've all gone out and I'll get this and nip here and spend money there, yeah. I think one of the important things is if you just have bought a box set for any sort of game, what you've got to do is actually look at the rules and see what terrain you actually need first.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah, because I mean, we've all got shiny eye syndrome, shiny kit syndrome. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. I want it. I want it. I don't know what it's for, but I need it. We've all got that situation. Terrain builders especially, it's worse than gamers. At least you know what you're buying the models for. We buy stuff on the basis of, I may be able to create something out of this in the future. Yeah? Now
you nailed Meetup.
As a gamer getting into terrain, what you've actually got to do is sort of open your rulebook and say, right, how much terrain do I need? What sort of terrain? Is this an urban game? Is this, am I going to be needing hills? How does the terrain interact with the models? Does it interact with the models? I mean, then you need to go through like a sort of planning process, and for that I suggest cutting out bits of cardboard and stuff like that, and actually putting your models on your plans. Yeah, do one-to-one plans, put your models on, because there's nothing more infuriating. Well, at the end of the day, there's nothing more infuriating, and we've all done it, building that bit of terrain, yeah, that when it's complete, we go to put a model on, and it doesn't fit.
Yep.
Yeah, and if you do that for your first piece of terrain, it will murder you. Okay, so for me, I'd say long before you get the tools, long before you go out and buy anything, yeah, sit down with your rule book, figure out what you need to make, and there's a tendency when you build terrain to build big things. We like building big things because you only see them in gaming stores, and you want that gaming experience.
Yeah, if you want to do the common sense way, yeah, well, listen to Mel, but I'm not. I'm like really sadistic, and I'll just go out and buy anything that I see. Even if I don't use it. Back here I have a hot wire cutter table. I bought that like, I don't know, last year. I just opened it like 2 weeks ago.
I'd like to point out, Chung, that you don't have a wife.
Deep pockets.
Okay, yes, you're right. That's why.
Yeah.
That's
we
why.
have other considerations, my friend. We have other considerations.
Forgot about that. You guys have wives. You guys got all right.
Not me.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Oh yeah. Matt's still free and single, are you? Or are you girlfriend status?
Actually, me and Matt talked about this the other night.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah, talking about not want to mess with women because they'll suck the life out of you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anybody.
Oh, they can be like that sometimes.
I can tell you. Yeah.
It sounds better than soul. Because that's like eternal.
Soul too. I mean, you pay with your soul and you get your life sucked out. So.
I'm upfront with every girl I go out with. I'm like, if you ain't down with the dice and a bunch of pink shit everywhere, you ain't gonna like me.
It ain't gonna work.
My wife gave up years ago. She met me. She was quite unlucky because
Here's something true about women. The moment you can show them you can actually make money doing this crap, they will let you buy anything.
Oh, that is true. That is true.
Oh,
that was Mario's predicament.
Just about anything.
Yeah, when Mario started winning awards, her wife said, whatever, and then he brought home some money for it or got commissions out of it. Now she's like all for him doing this stuff.
That changes things.
Yeah,
I've also found, if you involve the children, all of a sudden it's a family activity. Yeah, and it gets full family support, which means now, because my children are involved, trips to game stores are family trips.
Well, how old is your children? That's a good question. I mean, what, are they still babies? I mean,
no,
starting them young, right?
Well, Willow's 6, Corbin's 8, but Corbin's been building terrain since he was 4.
Nice.
Wow.
That's true, too.
He's going to be a Rembrandt at 12.
So has this become advice for other people to make sure that they're okay with their wife to do this hobby now?
Yeah.
Some tips?
You want that.
How to get around it?
Make sure your wife or girlfriend isn't going to kill you if you suddenly, because terrain takes space. It does.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Huge amounts. The whole basement in my case.
I've got a 12-foot by 12-foot room that's dedicated to this, and that's not even with the game table behind me. So half my living room's dedicated to just the presentation, and I've got a whole room with a closet that's packed tightly with everything I need.
Gotcha.
I got so much scrap around, all over the house, not like just in one room. So like you'd be walking down the hallway, that's where that Space Marine went. But yeah, I mean, last time my friend came over, Phil, he plays fantasy with me. He's like, damn, it's like coming to a game store every time I come to your house. Because there's always new stuff sitting around.
Nice.
But that has to do with my inconsistency of buying stuff and not building them, but whatever.
That's mine too.
Yeah.
My house is flooded with stuff. But like I say, my wife's far more tolerant since the kids have got more actively involved in it.
Yeah.
Here you go. Just a quick picture for you guys. This is Corbin at the age of, I think he was 4 or 5. And this was a school project that we did for the school. Basically, you notice that the table is actually...
Fight on that afterwards?
Say again?
Did you fight on that afterwards?
There was a battle on that.
I knew it. I knew it. They did a small project.
Nothing leaves this
Battle
house.
tape.
That's cool. That's cool. I mean, I know
you,
Bill has this up on me, but I have like foam all over in the garage. I mean, like every time I get a box, like I buy a TV or something, there's foam in it. I'm like, I can't throw this away. It's like one of those things where it's automatic now.
Somehow.
Yeah.
Oh,
and I know you have foam all over the place.
What type of foam to use?
High density for me.
I get as much, whatever I can. I try to get pink foam here, but for some reason they're like outlawed in California. Like it's gonna eat.
They're hostile in California.
It's too hot in what you call it. I do feel sorry for everyone who lives in a hot environment. I mean, living in Britain, you know, they throw pink foam at you as part of council initiatives.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Nice.
Man,
well, it's insulation, isn't it? So I mean, it's readily available. But I know I showed you
Foam
guys
started
this.
advertising their stuff as hobbies, so they're actually showing up in places now.
Yeah.
They're actually advertising for hobby build or whatever.
I'll use a combination, literally, of whatever I've got. So that's a mixture of white and pink.
Nice.
Do you know what I mean? But
That is so symmetrical.
I've still got to hammer it yet, mate. Absolutely hammer it. There's a lot of work to do in it, but it's getting there.
Curves are so hard to get symmetrical, though. You did an awesome job at that.
Not bad considering it's sanded.
It looks cool. I like it.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys a question. This is a question for terrain builders, because you're all terrain builders here, and I know Bill has this. All right. I know you guys walk around like doing your daily stuff, and then suddenly you see something like that you can pick up on the street or in the store, and you're like, oh, this would make a good whatever. I mean, you guys don't see that, right? You're seeing terrain all over the place.
Wall.
You what?
I don't have a bits box. I have a bits wall.
Yeah, you have the bits.
It's like about 120 drawers of just stuff. I used to have a thing on my show called What's in Bill's Drawers. And I would literally use like a D10 and a D12, and I would randomly roll what drawer it was, and I would pull the stuff out and say what it was good for.
I remember that. I remember those shows. I used to love those shows. I was always laughing. I'm like, why in the hell does he even keep those?
Right.
Why did he even make out of those?
I did one of those the other day. I got like a bunch of. I hit the dollar store every once in a while because they'll get like overflow from the bigger retails, and
Nice.
I've got a collection of just weird stuff that I'm sitting here going like, these golf balls can be used for something. These ping pong balls can be used for something. And I was actually at the grocery the other night, and they had a sale on kebabs, 100 packs of kebabs for
I
50
love those.
cents each. I bought like 20 of them, so I've got 2,000 kebabs just sitting in my.
That's
Waiting.
awesome,
What the
dude.
hell is a kebab?
You are ready for a Wild West fort. You are
It's,
so ready for that.
You know what? Here, I'll just grab it and show you.
It's a big
Right, well,
toothpick. That's all
Yeah,
it
it's
is.
an
Big-
awesome toothpick.
Yeah,
Right.
but you do a lot with it because it's so long and big. And
I've actually found to answer
More
John's
sexual
question,
innuendos, Sean.
I've actually taken it to the next level. I don't only just spot things when I'm out, you know, that would be good for terrain. Yeah, I found myself a couple of years ago.
Nice.
Yeah. We call them barbecue skewers.
well, I mean that works
We're
too.
all going to go grab our bags now. We've all got a bag of these.
Yeah, we all. I use them for holding foam.
I know I got a couple
together
of
as
them.
it's
I
glued.
lost one, and I bought another bag just because I couldn't find it.
Mm-hmm.
But
They
no,
were they were so cheap, and I'm sitting here going,
Oh, they
I
are.
need
They're
so
so
many.
cheap.
just to
Mhm.
answer Chung's question, yeah, with regards to spotting, a couple of years ago, yeah, I noticed it was Christmas time and we were picking the presents for the kids, yeah, and there was this awesome sort of crane, sort of electrical crane, but it got these wonderful sort of like, you know, the sort of proper metal support pillars, you know, with a proper gridding between them.
Yeah.
And there was about 3 foot of support filling in this thing, and all I can think is I can make a great oil rig after he's trashed that. So it was like, we'll get him one of those. He likes cranes. So
Right, and I'll break it accidentally.
Mate, it took him 3 months, and it was in my terrain building box. I'll save this bit, this bit, this bit, this bit. But yeah.
That is so bad when you buy things for your kids and then steal them. I so approve.
I've been there. That my mom bought me for my 16th birthday a DVD set for a TV show I didn't ever watch, and then she just unwrapped it and watched it. Okay.
Are you making CD terrain out of it now?
No, I have no clue where that set went. I'm pretty sure she has it back in Kentucky. But speaking of which, CDs actually can make pretty good bases if you're trying to go on the cheap.
Yeah, that's a whole genre right there.
Craters out of them, right? You can make craters and shit out of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Eons of Battle did a little thing on how to create like little 40K rebel bases using a CD.
Oh, dude, I love that video, man. That video was awesome.
Yeah. I watch them all the time to just kind of pick up little tips and tricks on things.
He's a good guy. I've just started watching his Dead Zone stuff because I'm getting, obviously, you know, I'm building the stuff, but I haven't played the game yet. So I've sort of followed his entire Dead Zone series, and it's really nice, I have to say.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so, but if you're going to create terrain on a bigger, more durable scale, what I use is the 1/8 inch hardboard that's tempered on both sides. You can usually get that at a hardware store.
What do you cut that with?
I cut it with a jigsaw. I'll trace it out.
How do you get it straight?
Carefully.
I'm like seriously planning to buy a table saw now.
Straight.
What's that?
It's very resilient. It's even with like my bandsaw and scroll saw, it can be hard to cut.
Exactly. You got to put a little strength into it to really cut it. I found that if you're just if you make sure you've got a clear line, you're gonna have to sand it down anyway. So then I use a belt sander to
Nice tool.
Yeah, to kind of straighten it out. Like if there is a slight curve where maybe I drifted ever so slightly, you take the belt sander and you sand it down until it's even. So I actually usually measure it slightly bigger, then I'll end up kneading it.
Nice.
I tried cutting. What is it? I tried cutting, straight 2x2s out to do the modular table with the jigsaw. Didn't work out, so I ended up with a bunch of these.
Oh yeah, if you're creating like forest flats,
they're great bases. You got a great asymmetrical base.
I mean, I much prefer MDF, to be truthful, 6mm MDF, and the reason for that is because you can actually. Have I got some? No.
Shit, he went metric on us. What the fuck is 6mm?
Okay, 6mm.
I can't find MDF out here.
Can you
really?
not?
In Utah? Well, you live in Utah, so I wouldn't. Then again, I live in California, so whatever.
Quick story for you. Okay, when I lived in Wales, the little village had 2 factories in. Okay, one made Cadbury's chocolate muffins. The other made MDF. And depending on which factory screwed up on which day, either the entire village would smell of chocolate, or burnt hamsters, or both.
Sounds like Milwaukee, where they produce beer.
No,
the wind going the wrong way, man.
Well, what's even better, is the fact that the MDF factory got fined £5,000, the maximum fine for pollution emissions every year. Okay. Because it was a German company and operating costs, it was just cheaper to pay the fine and operate like that in the UK because they couldn't operate like that in Germany. Mm-hmm. But when you think about that, the Cadbury's muffin factory was right next door to the area that's getting polluted and getting the maximum fine every year.
Not so good.
Now, if someone from Cadbury's is watching this, there will be a press release shortly about a relocation, no doubt. Sorry, guys. Everyone in the village who's just lost their jobs. They didn't mean to do it.
But they get a going away present of 1,000 Cadbury eggs.
Oh,
right.
Man. Oh, I did the Cadbury, the Cadbury factory tour. Took the kids around it. Biggest mistake in my life. They were bouncing around the car for hours afterwards.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, anyway, we're getting off topic, aren't we? Yeah. MDF. The reason I say I work with MDF is because you can shape it and cut it with a standard blade, and so it doesn't need jigsaws and bandsaws and that sort of stuff, but it's still quite a durable material. You know, it can still take quite a lot of hammer. It does 6mm won't warp, those sort of things, but it's easy to stand, easy to work with. Obviously the longer lasting stuff, then we use plyboard over here. You know, hardboard is a bit excessive, but I mean you know, I've never had problems with warping or splitting with ply, as long as you sand it down and then, you know, you put your filler over it and all that sort of stuff afterwards.
It's usually how much glue you use. If you use a lot of glue, I notice it tends to warp more. If you can get away with less glue, usually the better.
I tend to do.
Don't you just go ahead and put a protective coat on it before you do anything with it like that? That's I don't know, because you know, painting MDF is a pain in the ass if you don't protective coat it, right? So what you would do is, well, what I was told, you primer it with solvent primer.
I mean, you can seal it pre-putting the sort of, you know, because I mean, the main issue we're talking about here is, you know, when you've got a long piece, and not particular round pieces, but a long, thin piece, that's when you're sort of looking at warping, aren't you, guys? You mean, you might get, with a large piece, you might get a bit of edge creep. Yeah. But, you know, it's the long, thin ones that like to go banana-wise. Yeah, and the main problem is because you put PVA straight across the top, and therefore, as it contracts it brings the top up. Now, what I tend to do is, one, I'll do, if it's a really long, thin bits, I'll break up the stages of PVAing. So I'll PVA in the middle first, then I'll do one edge, then I'll do the other edge, so there isn't the overall shrinkage, and I find that can help. The other thing is, if I'm doing hills where you need to put PVA all over it in one go, what I started doing, and this is after I've been watching DM Scotty and DMG's videos and their work with hot guns, is I've now started sort of like whacking hot glue down to hold the hill down and just run PVA around the edge to seal the edge. Yeah, so you don't have that sort of shrinkage, you don't have that overall contraction, because hot glue doesn't contract like PVA does.
And it's so fast.
Oh, yeah.
I love hot glue.
It's changing things for me, to be perfectly honest. I'd always put it to one side, you know, it's like, you know, I prefer the control of PVA. But the time factor is just so great to be able to go, stick it down, leave it 2 minutes, right, let's crack on.
Yeah.
Speaking of hot glue as well, one thing that I have found that has helped me tremendously is, because I used to use like the mini glue guns just because they took less space. But I found as I was getting on to bigger and bigger projects, you pick up one of those dual temp huge ones. It's just like, you know, the size of a regular like handgun. And then you can go on like Amazon or eBay, and you can order bulk orders of these huge, like, they're 3 times the length of a normal glue stick. And
I have glue stick envy.
And I mean, if you look at the amount you would have to spend if you just go into like a craft store and pick up like a 10-pack of these, you're saving like so much. I mean, you're spending literally less than $1 a glue stick. Maybe less than 50 cents.
Because you always tend to run out you're at the end halfway through your run. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You gotta like grab another one, load it in, and try and keep on going while this stuff is drying already. So yeah,
that's not going to be practical for people who are just wanting to build like one little board of stuff. You know, in that case, it's more practical to just go and drop the $5 or $10 at Walmart to grab, you know, the little pack that'll last them just the project. That's more for when you're going like huge scale, when you know you're going to be building multiple things. That I would encourage.
A full table.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll throw this out there because I think this is an interesting topic, yeah, and it's bang on with what we're talking about. Okay, let's say £30, which breaking it into US would probably take it around about the $50 mark, $55.
Yeah.
That's the amount of money you've got. You need a table, okay? What do you buy? You've got nothing. You've got no tools beyond
What kind of table? Like a city table?
Yeah, that's going to affect it.
Whatever for your game. Let's say that, let's be honest, yeah, every first table is going to be green fields, isn't it? Northern Europe, trees, hills, yeah. $55, guys. What do you buy?
A half-inch sheet of pink foam, if you can get it in your hardware store.
Okay, how much
They'll
is
run you
that?
about $10-15.
15 bucks. Yeah.
So
Yep.
you're down to 40, mate.
Probably a razor blade to cut it. That'll run you about $5.
If you get it at the dollar store, you can get it maybe dollar packs too.
A dollar pack is way better. Yeah, go with that.
Yeah.
I mean, those things they're pretty much all the same, even the cheap ones.
If you go
down
to
to 35.
you can get the throwaway paints for like it's a huge amount of paint, and you can usually get the cans for about $5, and it'll cover a full 4x8 table if you can get just green paint.
Okay, so we're down to 30. What else we get?
Some form of glue, so either PVA or if you're going for the hot glue, you're looking at like $5 to $10 for the hot glue, and then $5 to $15 for a glue gun, depending on if you get a mini or a big one.
Yeah, I mean, for this project, I'd probably just suggest PVA, because let's be honest, you know, that's going to wipe out the rest of your $30, whereas I'm gathering you guys can pick up liters of it for like, you know, $1, much like we can get like...
You can also get like pillow fill for like as cheap as like $2 or $3, and if you get
pillow fill?
It's pillow fill to
Spongy
put a
thing.
pillow. It's like a white cotton.
It's cotton.
What you do is you spray paint it green. You get some sticks out in the yard. Drop your hot glue down on the points.
Right, yeah.
And just stick them on. Boom, you've got deciduous trees.
Right, got you.
Or burning trees with green smoke.
So, okay, well, let's draw a line, yeah. We were at cutting tool and we got down to $30. Yeah, we've just got onto glue. So what are we going for glue?
PVA, I'd say, because you're going to need money for flocking material, and that you can't really get cheap.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you
okay,
can. So you could sawdust and then paint and then just mix up your own flock.
That's true. That's true. So what? A couple of dollars for PVA down to 28.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what else are we gonna do?
You could get. Honestly, this is something that I've done in the past. You can get a 50-pound bag of sand at any hardware store for less than $4.
Yeah. It's like 4 or 5. Yeah.
I've got 2 of them that will not run out on me for the next 2 years, probably.
Ever, right?
Yeah. Quick caveats for the people in the UK. If you go to Toys R Us, they sell Kiddies Play Sand, which is a very fine grit, and it's like £1 a bag, but it's a good-sized bag. Yeah, it's easily enough for what you'll need to do terrain, but it's more than like a builder's bag, which your wife will give you grief for having. So I'll just cut in with that. So we're down to 25 guys.
Well, just to add this in there, you could actually get it free if you live in California and take a drive down to the beach. So.
Yes, of course.
Right.
But, I live in Britain.
One thing I will say,
beaches don't have sand in Britain. They have dog turds and toilet paper.
And rocks. Lots of rocks.
Sorry on this. When I picked up my bag of sand, it was the play sand like you're talking about. It had just rained the day before.
Oh no!
And they left it out there, and I needed it, and it was soggy and wet, and just had bugs in it and all this other stuff. And I got it home, and I was just like, crap. So make sure if you get sand from a soggy environment like the UK or the beach after the tide has come in, or just someone decides to drop a bucket on you, that you bake it. Bake it at 350 degrees on just a huge cookie sheet.
I will also point out that following Bill's comment about getting sticks, obviously it's damp in the UK. Obviously we have lots of creatures that live inside the sticks. If you are going to use sticks, which is a brilliant idea for your terrain, make sure you dry them out and seal them. Because the last thing you need is when your lids are going down the table, then get reinforcements climbing out of terrain to go run across your table.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, hey, if you want realism, well, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, if you want realism, let's be honest, we've all done it. How many of us have gone out and played a game in the garden?
Oh, I've done that when I was little, yeah.
Green Army Man? Totally.
No, I'm talking about getting Space Marines up in the rockery, mate.
Yeah.
Get the
I used to play Road Trader out in the garden.
Never done it.
Yeah.
Sadly,
guys, there's terrain all around us.
Oh, listen, this is how they used to do tables at a place called Last Grenadier here. It was a big shop, and then you go downstairs in the basement, and they have all the tables in there. Well, they didn't have, like, mats and all that nifty things like mats and foam and shit. They had real sand that they wet to mold whatever the table is and let it dry for the next day and play.
Wow.
It's
Oh,
like old
yeah.
school like shit. Yeah.
Speaking
They
of
just
that,
take it, wet it, and adjust it, and then it looks well, and it's real. It's sand, right? So.
okay, guys,
Okay.
true story for you. True story. I just went to a convention the other day. Now, I'm a third shifter, right? And I had to switch over to a first shift because everybody's first shift, including this convention. So I give myself only about 3 hours of sleep, right? So I'm driving up to this convention. I'm going and I'm looking at this table, and I see this plastic shoebox top with dice in it, and I'm wondering, why do they have this plastic shoebox with dice in it on the table, and it had all these ancient warfare ships, and I'm swearing to God, it looks like it's moving, but I've only had 3 hours of sleep, and then I noticed they had plastic up clamped down. It was in actual water. So the ships were actually floating in the water, and they were using the dice top to flow on top of the water to throw the dice in. So
That's cool.
That's just cool.
They're tired, and they were literally playing on water. It was a water table.
That's very cool.
That was
incredibly cool.
Yes.
That reminds me of an idea I had for if you were to seal a table and waterproof it, like say you have a river running through it, and then put some sort of shaped plastic that's transparent on top. You could equip it with a aquarium water pump at one end and have actual water running underneath.
Oh,
yeah.
That's really cool.
Totally.
It'd be so expensive.
Back on topic.
A water
You
pump
got
is
$25 left. Come on, let's get this table built. What else do you need?
Where are we at? 25, and what do we have? Sand?
Sand.
Foam.
If you want
We've got the
both grit,
foam.
if you want a fine grit and then a not so fine grit, so you can have varied texture in there.
Yeah.
You could get both. So looking at maybe like $8 for both of them.
I'd probably recommend some sort of filler.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah,
you know
so-
what?
Oh, you know what? Drywall spackle. Good filler.
Yeah, I mean, you guys call it spackle in the UK. We call it filler. Filler.
That's cheap too.
Yeah, so couple of dollars for that.
Caulking
what, 20?
works a lot better than just spackle, I've found, because it's
What
more
does-
flexible.
Yeah, acrylic caulking will, but I mean, either way, it works.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So what? How much do you reckon we're on with? So talking about our fillers, our sand, our gravels, whether you get them from sort of nick them out the garden or the beach, or whether
Did
you're
we
sort
add
of
the
buying.
flock? Did we add the flock sawdust? A pack of sawdust, a big like 5-pound sawdust is like $5, $6, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
And you just put it in a plastic bag with the paint, and then just keep moving it,
yeah.
Or
and
just
let it
use
dry, and keep breaking it up.
Yeah, you can
So
do that,
we
or
can
you
do
just mix it. Yeah.
I'd reckon what we're down to about $18, $17 now.
Yeah.
So what? I'd probably spend the last of that probably on a couple of like. Actually, no, we don't have to buy trees, but probably looking to just pick up a few sort of little ornaments or something, just like some eye poppers. Because I mean, we've got the hills covered. I mean, with the pillow filler, we've got the trees and the woods covered. And the only other thing is perhaps hedgerows. Viv at Rubbish In, Rubbish It Out did that
He does
hedgerow one, didn't he?
beautiful ones.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
I reckon.
He also has a video on how to make the flock with the sawdust too. So.
Yeah. So I reckon $5 for perhaps one of those gets all your hedgerows sorted for the table.
That's true.
So we're down to about what, $12?
Oh, you can also a trick I learned from Mason at Blue Table is you can get those pipe cleaners, and if you're wanting to make like barbed wire, you just take a lighter along the pipe cleaner, and the wire inside of it's already twisted. And they're super
That is
cheap.
a nice idea.
Yeah. So the
That's
40K
very
version
nice.
is hedges. Yeah, we like that.
And it's wire, so you can twist it already.
Yeah.
Exactly. It looks just like barbed wire.
I've
Okay,
used
so-
tinsel that way. Tinsel is a lot stronger than you would think.
Really?
And like Christmas tinsel, and it's really shiny. And what you do is you put down a spot of glue, you put that down, and you start twisting it. And what it does is it catches the light in like a dotted fashion, and it starts looking like the barbs on barbed wire.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Brilliant.
And you will never run out. A single bag of tinsel will run you like a buck. You'll never use it all.
Okay, here's another good tip for something cheap. Buy a huge bag of tree bark, and you can make rock fusions and rock faces and stuff.
Yeah.
For only $8, you get a huge bag. I mean, I still have a bag downstairs
right now. Absolutely.
You also just you could go out on a hike with a knife and just cut some if you wanted to. But you
get your ass arrested depending where you're at.
How dare you damage beautiful trees?
Well, they should.
One of those,
the bark falls off by itself.
Yeah,
that's acceptable. That's acceptable. So
and if you're worried about critters coming out of the bark, you do the same thing that you do with the sand. You put it on like a tray, put it in the oven, and bake it. It'll kill what's ever inside it, and then once you paint it, it's already sealed. Done.
Yeah. The cliff of death.
The cliff of death. Made from sacrificed trees.
So how much are we down now? What?
I reckon
$10?
I reckon $10. So what's that in the UK? About 7.
That's about 18 quid.
No, actually, we're currently looking at exchange rate of 1.7 to the pound. So I'd probably say that.
Okay.
Yeah, 17 then. Yeah.
About 17.
Yeah.
Aquarium.
No, the other way round, guys. It's $1.7 to the pound. So if we're on about $10, I'm looking at about 6 quid.
You can riding on the aquarium thing. You can always get the aquarium gravels.
Personally, I'd say aquarium gravels. We've talked about the bark and those sort of things. So if you put sort of like £10, sort of $15, $16 towards getting all your grits, your sands, your barks, your corks, all that sort of stuff, I think that's reasonable, isn't it, guys?
Sure.
Yeah. So your last couple of quid, my personal recommendation on the last couple of quid is beer, because it's going to be a project. Get beer put next to it.
Yes.
Man, beer must be cheap in England, man. Yes.
Oh man, you have not seen how we drink, have you? Anyone will tell you.
Oh, you guys are professionals.
Oh yeah, beer is cheap in the country
compared to us Americans.
Basically, we give beer to our children rather than the water because it's cleaner.
Yeah, alcohol kills lots of stuff, including brain cells.
Oh, hell, mate, yeah. We are a nation of drinkers. We are Gaelic in origin.
You know what? I have had the urge to invite some friends over to do what Frontline Gaming did a while back, Beer Hammer. Did you guys see this?
No.
You know what? It's not a good idea to drink and play. I mean, the next battle rep coming up, you'll see us do a lot of mistakes between turn 1 and 3 because we were kind of tipsy that we couldn't get all the rules straight. And you'll notice it too because we were like in front of camera, we were like all professional. I'm like, hey, we have to be professional. We're doing a battle rep, but we're so tipsy because we drank these 44 ounce gallons of this like Long Island iced tea thing. And he says, no, it's really, really powerful. And I'm like, all right, whatever. Because I drink Long Island iced tea all the time. Man,
you need Miranda to come over there and give you that Miranda stare that will scare any.
Yeah, that's true. It will.
I tell you, man. When I saw her and Joey talking about tactics, they scared me. They were focused like a laser beam. They looked like they could take down NORAD. I mean, it was amazing.
Just out of interest, are any of you guys ex-military?
No, Les is ex-military. CJ's ex-military.
Did either of you serve with the British forces at any point? Did you get given your sort of courtesy cards, the cards that sort of tell you the things you should do with, British soldiers and the things that you shouldn't?
No, I didn't even know there was something that exists.
Don't shoot at them, I'm sure.
No, what you call it?
They're our friends. Don't shoot at them.
They will kill you.
We were on a combined deployment, and we were having a laugh with a couple of Yank guys, and what you call it, and they showed us these cards that the US military had given them to sort of how to deal with British soldiers. And the first one was
Really?
seriously, yeah, really. I mean, these were genuine.
Wow.
Every single one of them. You know, a bit like when you go to like Saudi and they give you the cards like, you know, don't wave with your left hand, don't show the soles of your feet, all that sort of stuff. But the first one was, do not offend the Queen. Do not say anything.
That's true. You guys are pretty up and up about your Queen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we don't like anyone else saying anything about the Queen.
But
I
you
mean,
guys
we'll
should
say
with
all
it.
sorts of stuff.
Right, yeah.
But no one else can say anything about our
I
Queen.
get it.
Yeah.
So
Another
I
one.
need to walk over there and tell her to get her knickers down. Okay.
The next
You're
one.
gonna get shot, Titan.
I know I'm gonna get shot.
The next one, yeah, was be
They're
aware.
gonna retake America just because of you.
Oh, jeez. Well,
They're
glad
gonna
we
come back
crossed
here and
early.
kick us out.
Right. The second one was be aware. The word fanny refers to vagina in the UK.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah. That's what we call that.
That's
That's what
important.
they call their lady parts in the UK. Yeah. So obviously, with you lot walking around with your fanny bags and fitting your fannies down and all this sort of stuff, British squaddies are literally crying with tears. I'm calling you a bunch of pussies. Yeah. The third one, and the very best, yeah, and I quote this word for word. Do not get involved in drinking games with British soldiers. You will lose.
Right? I believe that.
That's great.
And literally, there were 3 rules. It was the Queen, fanny, drink. And this is how you got to deal with. What does that say about the British people? We love our Queen, but, you know, we'll take the piss out of you, and, you know, as long as we're drunk, we're happy. In fact, here's a little
don't let him get sober.
Did you know, yeah, on active deployment, it is British law, yeah, that every British soldier is entitled to 2 cans per man per day of alcohol.
Really?
Yeah, it kicks back to like the days when, you know, beer was all we drank, and it's part of British old law, and it's sort of stayed with the British Army, and like, you know, they've tried to repeal it, but every time they do, you know, everyone in the army says, no, we'll vote against that. We don't want that. We want 3 cans. Now, the thing is, when you go on a deployment to a Muslim country, where obviously alcohol is banned, they can't issue it to you. So you build up beer stockpiles.
Wow.
Beer stockpiles. 2 cans per man per day. That's the biggest
So is this like
party
Russia
after
where you
3
guys
months.
like make your own vodka that could like probably kill the standard civilian?
Oh, man.
So I think we have established that that terrain requires gratuitous amounts of alcohol.
Oh, I'll tell you guys
This
a
is the
story.
longest part of the conversation.
Yeah,
I know,
I'll tell you
right?
guys a story off cam, because I can't tell you on cam, because if I broadcast it, I might get into a bit of trouble. I'm probably not supposed to even tell you, but I can claim diminished mental responsibility on the basis it's 4 o'clock in the morning.
Is it 4 o'clock in the morning, or you had your 2 beers already? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
There you go.
No,
No longer responsible.
mate, I've moved on from beer. I just take vodka intravenously now. It's simple.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
Nice.
Yeah, I find it easy with the crafting. Have you ever noticed you always think it's a good idea to use sharp things to carve hills when you're drunk?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, power tools I tend to avoid.
Yeah,
I
power
like-
tools. I'll tell you what,
Like
genuinely.
bandsaws.
Yeah, my wife bans me and removes sharp tools when I'm drunk, and I'm like, I just need to do a bit of this. I'm just going to fix this hill. No, you'll leave it till morning.
Okay,
we're
how many
both
of you
drunk.
guys have band-aids on your desk?
No, but I have super glue, and I use that for patching wounds.
So here's a fun story. See that?
Yeah?
About halfway down the pinky?
Yep.
Across both fingers?
Yep, that is an accident I had when I was 16 with my brother that involved a combat knife, and that is all I will say.
We'll leave the incriminating stuff alone.
No, but yeah, that right there is a reason why you want to be careful with these tools when you're using them. because even though that was not terrain related, I've had stuff that has come close. We used to have a saying back at the game store that you weren't a proper Warhammer player until you bled all over your models.
Very true. Very true.
Blood angels for real.
Yeah. So
Blood
just
for the blood god.
always be careful with the exactos, because sometimes that pink foam, you think it's going to take a little bit more power to get through it than it actually does, and then you end up, just went through your finger.
Oh yeah.
At the end of the day, guys, I mean,
Exactly.
at the end of the day, guys, you know, we're using proper tools, we're using them with force, we're cutting wood, you know, we're using solvents and that sort of stuff. And, it, you know, terrain, I mean, I know we joke about having a beer and being drunk and everything, but terrain it's a step up from basic modelling, and, you know, you've got to respect your tools at the end of the day. I mean, I wouldn't advise anyone to really build terrain drunk. Have a beer as you're doing it, you know, but you got to be sensible. You got to respect these tools, because if you don't, they won't respect you. And trust me, you'll lose.
Yeah.
Every time.
Every time. You know, and it's always the moment you lose respect for them. You think you can do something, and you can think you can do something else while you're doing it, like watch a video, or I'll just quickly comment, or I'll just turn around to the wife and say, you know. So it's either you're either focused on terrain
while they're building.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Tell me about it, mate.
So never do terrain drunk, right? Being high, on the other hand, is a different story.
Oh man, yeah, terrain when you're high. That's when to do the chaos stuff.
Yeah,
or
the exactly. Or the
you've got to
timber
get into like finger
table that you
sculpting,
want to
get the
build.
putty out.
Yep.
have you guys ever worked on terrain for so long that you hit that sleep deprivation mode where you feel like you're high, where your body kicks in all of
Dude,
its...
that's the story of my life, man. It doesn't have to be terrain. It can be anything. I don't sleep.
Look at this face.
How many people went to bed, had a great idea, wrote it down, woke up in the next morning and said, what in the world was I talking about or thinking?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I do that when I'm drunk. I open my my notepad on my iPhone, and I just put down little comments. Oh, that's a good idea. And I'll put little comments down, and then the next morning, I'll spend an hour trying to work out gibberish.
Right?
Okay, so before we get to the Q&A, let's talk real quick about what are we currently working on?
Mantic. In fact, if you guys talk, I'll get a few pieces, because if you don't mind, I'd like to do a little bit of a shout-out for the raffle.
I'll grab a couple pieces I recently made. How about that?
Yeah, that sounds good. I'll grab a couple of pieces.
Well, Chung, it looks like we just get to watch you smoking while they grab some pieces.
I guess.
Yeah.
They grab all the pieces they want.
Right.
Okay, guys, I'm going to actually show you the pile of terrain we brought in the house over at my house. This was all at Nexus. And this is after we sold $200 worth of stuff.
Damn.
That's a little bit of terrain, yeah. So I'll put this over here.
Is that terrain up on top of your cabinets?
Oh yeah, this is bits for like building stuff. Like I want to do terrain.
Wow.
I want to do Zulu terrain. Well here's my kitchen.
That's
terrain. I had a buddy make this pool. I want to do a huge oriental castle. I've got 2 of these big, huge lions. I want to have that in the front gate. I've got a huge demon for using in my...
How big are these things, man? Here,
game.
put your hand up next to them so we can know how big it actually is. Dude,
They're
those
big.
are big-ass statues, man, for a terrain table.
Yup.
Those make centerpieces.
Yeah, these I don't go small. I want to do like a wizard's tower and use
That's what
owls
she
as a
said.
recurring theme. I got a lot of stuff.
That's a lot of
And
stuff,
this is
dude.
upstairs, guys. This isn't downstairs.
Wow.
Yeah, I got a problem.
Nah, he accumulates so much crap, man. It's crazy.
I do. I do.
Okay.
But he also finds crazy-ass shit to make terrain out of. Sometimes I don't know how he does it.
Well, this is
He'll,
like...
He'll grab the most
internet
obtuse shit
stuff.
and then
Oh,
teach how to
that's
make a
cool.
terrain piece out of it.
But here is like the stuff for like your, it's like actually interconnected.
Oh, I saw that stuff. That's mint.
But it's like Wile E. Coyote.
Oh, that is cool. That is so cool.
Oh, that's different
And
to
then
the stuff I saw.
lay like across them and connect them. You just put them any way you want.
Do you have
Very
problems
nice.
with the foam being too light and knocking over, or do you weigh it down?
I'm sorry?
Do you have problems like when you put the bridges across, it like just knocking over, or do you weigh them down?
They can, yeah. What I try and do is I try and pair up pieces and get the angle going from one down to the other as close to perfect as I can, so it can lay flat as possible. The flatter it lays, the more stable it is.
Okay.
But that kind of thing. So that's the kind of stuff that I worked on to get ready for this convention.
Sweet.
Nice.
Right.
So what have you got cooking, Mel?
Okay, I'll just go cameras down. Right, as you know, or for the guys who don't know, Mantic Games contacted me and sent me one of their big boxes of terrain. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, and they sort of said, right, we just want to see what you can do with it. And so what I decided was I'd build a terrain set and then I'd raffle it off for a charity called Help for Heroes. Yeah, and I don't know if you've heard of them, but in the UK, basically, they provide practical help to veterans coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan. Yeah, and I've got mates who've received help, so, you know, I see the practical work they actually do. And so I'm building this terrain set, so what I decided was I'd customize it up as a mining facility on an alien planet. So that's the Bastion. That's sort of put together. I've gone for a really heavy corroded, and I've done a lot of things to sort of move it away from being Mantic terrain, like covering up the connectors. A couple of other things is, you know, I got their angle pieces to make storage bunkers. I changed windows into into panels using corrugated cardboard. I used their side panels. Yeah, and
those are
turned some of the barriers upside down to make sort of venting for the mines.
Oh, that's cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, so these are vent shafts, and then I've got a couple of more which I'm going to sort of embed in hills, like, you know, that they're sort of for the facilities. Now, they're the sort of scatter pieces. I've also been working on some ruins, and if I show you this one, and there's two of these. Yeah, and these are big-ass blown-out ruins.
Oh,
okay. Now, what I've had to do is, you guys will appreciate this, but because I've mounted it on white foam, so I can sort of dig into the ground here, yeah, it's given me quite a slope. So what I've done is I've gone with the 3-in-1 ratio, which means it's all playable. Models will stand anywhere on it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so the
Have
actual...
you ever used the heat tool to melt your foam, Mel?
No, I just sand it.
Okay.
Just sand it and cut it, mate. You know, because I know I'm going over it with filler, I don't have to worry about the finished texture of the white foam.
Got it.
Yeah, if it was pink foam, then obviously you'd sand it, use hot tools, all that sort of stuff, and craft the detail into this. But I know I'm going to be putting grit over this. So, you know, filler, grit. I'm not worried about what the white foam looks like, you know, as long as the shape is right. Obviously, you guys saw it. I'm not sure if I showed it earlier. Is the beast. This is the centerpiece.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
For the same set for the raffle?
Yeah, it's an entire it's an entire table. And just to shout this out, Mantic have agreed to ship this worldwide. So if there's anyone in the US who wants to get into it, yeah, don't worry about shipping. They did say, can you sort of like manage the weight? And I went, yeah, of course I can.
Don't you love Ronnie? I love Ronnie.
Yeah, he's a good guy, but basically,
he really
you know,
is a good guy.
Oh, they come off. That's cool.
At the moment,
wow,
they come off,
nice.
yeah, but at the moment they come off just because I need access to be able to work on this. But the idea behind this piece was, just to sort of show you, was I wanted to do a piece where you can get models underneath as well.
Ah.
Yeah, so I can dig
really
out
big
here.
Guys fit underneath that, Mel?
Say again?
What's your height on that beam, by the way? You know?
Height on the beam is 2 3/4 inches. So it'll
That
get
should be big enough.
over there. Yeah, basically,
Excellent. Very good.
You know, I've had to clip a little. I've gone down just a little to embed them, but I've tried to keep as much sort of height for functionality. And then what I'll do is I'll dig into here, yeah, collapse it down and have the panels sort of scattered on here, so there's some sort of line of sight between this level and this level.
Oh,
So
nice.
theoretically, that's achievable, and then you can sort of have a gun battle between people coming up, people already on top. You know, those have got the sort of stairwell in, so you know you've got shooting down, and it's trying about maximizing functionality in terrain, getting the most of the game. So obviously I've got a plateau here, so that'll be carved off for shooting down and all that sort of stuff.
This
And
reminds
then
me
I hate to be bothering you. How are you planning on getting it to bend? Were you planning on boiling it and then taking like a pliers to it?
Oh mate, I
What
blasted it with a heat gun.
Heat gun. Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
I blasted it with a heat gun, and if you can see, and I don't know if you can because I'm blocking the screen, but you can bend it. The only problem is a couple of issues when you hit this with a heat gun. The accessory molds, I believe they're made of a softer plastic to keep costs down.
Oh, okay.
So if
Sure.
you've got them in place on the hard plastic, then obviously they'll melt a lot quicker, so you can lose detail. So, you know, if you're only doing a little bit of bending, do the panels first before you put the connectors in or anything like that.
Got it.
Yeah, but other than that, it's dead easy. Blast it with a heat gun, you know, keep the heat moving rather than concentrating. Works fine. Then finally, I've got a few of these modules. I built these together out of the Mantic stuff, and basically, yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to embed them in cliffs exactly the same as
Nice.
Cliff.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
so what you'll have from the front is basically, that's what I'll actually show, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
The frontage, yeah, sticking out, and then from sort of behind the two pieces, and I intend to make them modular, so they'll fit together, or they're going to be corner pieces, but they'll fit together at both edges. So you can either bring them together to be like, you know, edge hills, you know, or one long strip. But basically you'll be able to get in the back and actually put troops inside. And I've got a large one of these, I've got a large door entrance, I've got a secure bunker entrance as well to the command facility. So not only will you be able to play on top of the hill, where you'll have air vents to get down and that sort of stuff to gain access, but you'll be able to play through the hill and inside the hill as well. So that's basically what I'm trying to do, is like maximize the functionality of this stuff whilst taking it away from Dead Zone as much as possible. So you know what Dead Zone looks like? It's cubed.
Yeah.
Everything's cubed.
Yep.
Yeah, well I've just like, nothing's cubed. Nothing can be cubed. Everything has to have angles somewhere. You know what I mean?
You know who's gonna love this? The 40K community.
Well, that's it. Well, I play
open up to
40K.
those people.
You know, I
this
play
was for
40K.
Well, it's for the Ultramarine raffle, so obviously it's for you know.
No, it is not for the Ultramarine raffle. This is
Oh, it's
an
not?
independent raffle. I don't mean IDCB is great, but this isn't part of that project. This is a separate.
Oh, I thought you were part of that project. All right, never mind.
No, mate, no. I'm just doing this. Basically, I've given myself till the end of July to get it built. Okay, and just for those guys who want the information, I'll say this nice and slow. If you want to make a donation, how it works is you make a donation via a website charity webpage, and I'll give you the details in a second. You'll get one virtual raffle ticket for every British pound that you donate. The really important thing is that once you've made your donation, there's a little tick box that you have to tick to share your details with me. Now, if you do not tick that, I cannot enter you in the raffle. Okay, so it's vitally important that you tick share your contact details, and I get them on like an Excel spreadsheet. And that's what the raffle will be run off, okay? Now, the raffle's being drawn on the 1st of August. Mantic have agreed to ship this out, so shipping isn't a problem. Okay, and where you need to go to get the raffle tickets is, the website address is justgiving.com/H4H-battle zones. Okay, now it's on my it's linked on loads of my videos on my channel. I'm sure Matt will be good enough to throw a link in the description of this for me, mate. Yeah, listen, really appreciate just giving me, you know, a couple of minutes to sort of do a shout out on that. But yeah, that's what I'm working on right now, guys. And to be perfectly honest, I have seen Dead Zone. I am dreaming Dead Zone. I'm seeing it on the TV. I'm seeing it bloody everywhere at the minute.
Yeah.
It took me 5 hours just to clip the panels out. Just
Yeah.
the panels.
Now, just for our American folks, when he says H, he means H. Right? Just wanna
Yes,
get
yes. That's the British H.
that- H. You guys
Oh,
love your
no,
HTs.
I'll put a link below once the live show gets broadcast onto.
Excellent. Thank you, mate. I really appreciate that.
Send me the info, Mel, and I'll post it everywhere on my end.
Oh, that'd be brilliant. It's really, Chung, really appreciate that, dude.
And then Chung also mentioned the Ultramarine project.
Yeah.
I
It is
actually
here, and yeah, you want to go and do it? Yeah, you do it.
the Ultramarine project, I actually have a client who changed his order to his objective markers. He was going to do White Scar objective markers and a turn counter, and he changed it to the Ultramarine project because he decided to throw in with that. So I'm going to be building some stuff for that, which I'm going to post the link below to that as soon as we get done with the broadcast.
Nice.
Do you know if they've got a display board for the army yet?
I do not, but I can find out.
think so. You could ask. You could ask them.
I'll ask Nick. And
Nick's really cool about it, so yeah. You know
yeah,
Nick.
I know Nick. We chat quite a bit.
Yeah,
but,
just,
that
just
might be a cool addition from a terrain point of view.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, I've got a couple of Imperial bastions in the attic, and what I might do is sort of grab them down, integrate them into a display board, but also sort of magnetize them and give them their own little bases that they can sort of take off and then actually use on the table as well.
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay.
That's what you definitely want to do with display boards. You want to actually use as much of the terrain as actual terrain.
Yeah. Sort of like,
Double duty.
basically make the display board not only a display board for the army, which, is going to be beautiful, but also make it sort of a storage point for your common terrain bits, your bastions, your fortifications perhaps, because I've got a box of fortifications. So I could do those, I could put Ultramarine symbols on them and all that sort of stuff, tie them into the army, and then, when they go to play, they can actually take the terrain off as well and whack that on the table.
Yeah, like what I'm planning on doing for the objective markers is I had a discussion with the client, and originally where it was going to be White Scars, it was going to be something like, a ruined highway with all sorts of like bike pieces all over it for objective markers. But now I'm going to do like these big monolithic ultra symbols that look like they once saved the world from an invasion, so they built all these huge, sort of like effigies honoring the Space Marines. And now war's broken out again, so they're back to, save them again, that kind of situation.
Yeah.
How about this? Do we all want in on this? A little bit, or do something for it? Are we interested?
I'd be down.
For the Ultramarine terrain stuff, all I'm thinking is, obviously you guys are in the States, so a big board shipping and all that sort of stuff. But I could perhaps do the board, and then if each of you guys sort of took an element, and I made sure you gave me the plan, I could make sure there's a clear space. And then all we'd have to do is tie in colours to tie in your basing with the board. And then, we could each donate sort of a modular bit of terrain to the Ultramarines product. I could do the major board because, I'm in the UK and therefore that's easier. You do objectives, fortifications. If Bill does some sort of like, bastion or something like that.
Sure, yeah. As long as I can know what you're looking for, I could do it.
Well, do you want me?
I have to leave this part up to you guys. I can't get it.
Yeah.
Only because I don't think I still have to do stuff from the last one. Stuff. I don't have time to get stuff done nowadays. So
Tell me
really
about
I hear you. I do, but if it's just a small area, that's pretty easy.
I'll have a word with Nick, and then I'll shoot you a mail, and we'll see what we can get sorted and see if we can do something for that. I mean, one, it makes it easier for me because I'm not building an entire display board. Right. But I mean, we can all sort of contribute because I mean, you know what it's like when they do these charity things and they're all after models. Terrain builders, we want to throw a lot in, but our lot isn't one model. We can't just paint one model. You know what I mean? When we do something, it's got to be big. It's got, it's this. You know what I mean?
Show off.
I'll throw in something, but I'll throw in something other than the objective markers and turn counter.
Yeah. Well, we can chew it over, guys, but as a principle, You know, I'll do the display base. We'll all work on little elements. We'll tie them in, and then throw it over to the what you call it.
Okay. Let's go ahead and we'll touch base on that in another video in the future.
Yeah,
but let's go ahead and get to the Q&A real quick. So I'll start going through the comments here and seeing what questions we have. We've been talking for quite a while at this point, about an hour and a half. So
it's all right. I'm up till the kids get up now anyway.
You poor man.
Mate, I can see the sun. Right, I need to put that up there.
Infinity Terrain. Have we done any? I'm doing a Plascraft set right now, which I've actually got this right here. This is the work in production paint scheme. I'm going to add a bunch of green glows and rust effects to it.
Is that NCT's workshop stuff?
It's Plascraft Games. I believe they're based out of the UK.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, for that, I would suggest Brush for Hire stuff. Hold on, let me show you. I don't know if you guys seen this yet. For Infinity, he actually does this thing called In-City. It's just In-City line.
Really cool.
It is really awesome for.
Is that his laser cut stuff?
Yeah, that is.
Let me see if I can find it. Hold on a second.
I'm just stepping out, topping up the coffee, guys. Back in 2.
All right.
Sure. Okay, here we go. Let me share the screen here. Where would that be? That would be... Hold on, stop moving on me, you bastard. What is wrong with this thing? Yeah, there's this In-City stuff right here. And this stuff is pretty nice. Yeah, for Infinity.
Very nice.
So if you're looking for Infinity Terrain, you get a whole big old set of that stuff and just, get that done there.
Very cool.
Speaking of which, this, terrain that I'm working on isn't stuff that you guys built. It's actually here's a preview. This is the G&G Gen Con exclusive terrain piece, and that's kind of like the baseline of what the WGC terrain stuff, the quality of it is coming out of. And there's 2 types of set. There's one that's unpainted and painted.
Yeah, I see pictures of that. That's really cool.
Yeah, so there's a lot of that, and then there's this really awesome piece we'll come out with. I can't say anything about it yet because I'm not supposed to. But when it comes out, you guys will know. It's pretty awesome looking.
Who's the sculptor?
That's one of the G&G sculptors that did that. But I'm going to be sculpting. Well, I'm going to be 3Ding the layouts for the rest of the terrain based on some of the stuff that he did here.
I've actually got some plans.
Gorgeous.
Because I'm planning on putting out a laser cut MDF set of Infinity Terrain myself sometime in the next 3 to 6 months.
Nice.
I'm now getting the design concepts together, and I'm going to be working with Brush for Hire as well, getting those ramped out as we get our web store up.
I think you told me about that. I was like, yeah, it's going to be cool.
Yeah, we're gonna have quite a few different we're gonna try and do like different types of Infinity Terrain that.
That's good. It's good to work with Brush for Hire. Trust me.
Austin is
He's a
awesome.
nice guy.
Yeah.
Very nice guy.
It also helps for the future of stuff that's going on.
We actually just don't have a lot of questions on here. I think we covered a lot of the basic stuff everyone was curious about. Do you guys have any more questions for us?
That's gonna be a wait on that one.
I have my Mab75 says he has his wife trained to look for terrain stuff at garage sales. Oh, that's kind of cool.
Oh, yeah, that would be fun. That would be a fun day to do, on a Saturday.
Ooh, yeah, garage
I
sale.
do it all the time.
Yeah. Just hunt for you probably What are we talking about? You got Mr. Expert crazy peace hunter here.
Yup.
I still laugh at some of the stuff you've done. You did that big old weird airship. Was it an orc airship or something?
Yeah. Me and Rubbish in, Rubbish out. That was one of the funnest weekends I think I've ever had terrain-wise.
That was awesome, man.
One of us just had to outdo the other. You could tell it through the whole weekend, and it was crazy at the very end.
It looked fun. Hey, Matt. Matt, you got to get Viv on here.
Huh?
Yeah.
You totally got to get Viv on here.
Yeah.
Just ask Viv to come on and do a show with us.
Yeah, I'll talk to them. I think it's just the timing conflict because Australia is such a different country.
That's true too. That's the problem with these live shows, man.
These shows will be kind of interesting, different times, because we're trying to get people from multiple.
So Mel, I know you just came back, so you didn't know, but y'all have to wake up like at 1 a.m. for the next show, I think.
That's all right. I ain't gonna sleep.
Poor man.
I spent that many years dealing with the US. Yeah, the strange web meetings in the wee hours is nothing new to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Look, you're just lucky I wasn't wearing my SpongeBob onesie.
Here's a Mab75 also asked, what's your feelings on a lot of the newer laser cut terrain that's coming out from companies?
Well, you know what? It's getting better, and here's the thing. I actually was talking to Austin about that yesterday, and we're talking about some stuff that we wanted to do together as well. The thing is like there's so many laser cut companies out there because it is, if you think about it, if you're smart, it's affordable enough to get a laser cut machine nowadays and do what everyone else would do, what Brush for Hire is doing or Burn-In Design is doing or Tectonic Studios or whatever. The only thing that's going to stand out now is having someone creative enough to create the new designs, like these new next level design stuff.
Yeah.
You know what
the next level design stuff is, I think, is when they start doing. How many people here have heard of Her Starts?
Yeah. Of course.
All right.
Yeah.
He does everything in standard inch. Most of these sets are done in standard inches.
Yeah.
What I think the next step is going to be is when they start designing the modular terrain where they can start fitting in like the pipe sets, like they've got like control panel pieces and stuff. And all you've got to do is get those molds, pour them and pop them, because the laser cutting actually takes longer than the pouring and popping them out.
It does. Yeah. Well, it depends on what kind of resin you use and all that
there's
stuff.
Your
but yeah.
3D feel coming off of that 2D surface.
Yeah. What are you using for your Hertz Arts? Are you using plaster of Paris or using?
I use Merlin's Magic. Resin? That's all I use. It's a PSI that you can get.
Oh, okay.
I use
PSI.
I use Cristacal in the UK. Cristacal something. I think it's 10 times harder than plaster, so it's perfectly functional. It doesn't chip, It's got the sort of PSI that, it's strong enough to do the job and light enough. The reason why I use it is because we've got a quarry for it about 5 miles up the road, and you can get the big sort of like 25 kilo bags for £1.
Oh my God!
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And because it's 5 miles up the road.
So Mel, what you do? Mel, so what you do is buy like 5 or 6 bags, package them in little tiny containers, and sell them yourself.
Do you know what?
Don't laugh. I'm telling you, do it.
No. I know it's a sound business idea, and it's the same idea as buying a new box of of models and selling bits off the sprue. The problem is my house would be saturated with bags of white stuff, which will guarantee me in the area I live in, a raid by the police. Yes. Someone will either look through my window, and report me, or break in and nick it.
You know what? You gotta put up a camera because if they break in and nick it, I want to see their faces. That's what I want.
Oh, that would be.
I want to see them use it.
Yeah, I want to see them sniff hydrocal. You watch for that thermic reaction.
That's what I want to see,
mate.
6 months from now, it'll be Mel.
They'll want you for manslaughter, Mel.
Oh, dude. Just to cut in with an old story, back in my older days when I came out of in my younger days, I came out of the army, retrained as a physiotherapist, and I had my physio bag left in my car, and it looked like a camera bag, so it got broken into, and someone nicked it, and all at the road you could see where they'd gone through it, throwing like oils and shit like that, realizing on the road as they've driven off, realizing it's a load of useless to them.
Like breadcrumbs.
Yeah, the police came out, and I said, they turned around and said, well, we don't know if we'll find it. I said, you'll find them, mate. And he turned around and said, why? I said, because there were undiluted oils in there, and they weren't labelled up as, must dilute. I said, look for someone who's got, burns at the local A&E. Yeah, and lo and behold, someone turned up, with burns to the hands and their girlfriend with a burnt back and breasts. Yeah, and that was literally caught red-handed. Fingerprints matched. Literally caught red-handed because these oils had burnt his hand. Because he poured them on his hands and started rubbed them in, rubbed his girlfriend, had a bit of a feel, if you can imagine. Yeah, and then the strength of them started to work.
That's great.
It's crazy.
Okay, so we've got a couple more questions. Do you prefer to have the terrain work well with the miniature or look cool rather than work? For example, stairs on a game board. I'll answer that. I like to make it work both ways. It's got to look cool and it's got to be functional.
Yeah, I definitely go both ways on that.
Yeah, it should be functional. Otherwise, it'd be like kind of like, well, why is it even there? Why can't it do anything with it?
One of the ways that I make it functional. One of the ways that I make it functional is when I cut my stairs, I'll go like every 1/4 inch, and then what I'll do with like the cut off pieces, I'll cut it at 1 inch across. And then all they do, if they want to go up the stairs, is they just invert that 1 inch piece, put it down, boom. And you can put your figure anywhere on the staircase.
I like that.
So it
That's
looks
genius,
real, but it's still figure friendly.
Yeah, love that. That's a genius idea.
I am finding a picture right now of a set that I did exactly what he's talking about.
I haven't done that before, so I'll nick it.
Absolutely. Take it.
Nice one, matey.
All right, I'm going to screen share this one, so give me a second. So there.
Make sure you screen share the right one, mate. I don't want to see you in the buff. That's a bit of a graceful challenge, you know what I mean?
No, none of that. Don't worry. All right.
You've got to keep those pictures on the other computer.
That's what he says, but he has his big grin on his face.
All right. You guys see that? Okay. Oh, well, where'd it go? Okay. Here we go.
If you click back on the Hangout, it goes off. So you've got to stay on that screen while we see it.
Yeah, still learning this a little bit.
Yeah, I figured that when I did it earlier.
Okay, so this. You notice that this was one of those projects that was really fun but challenging because he had very specific dimensions he wanted the base sizes to be. So I had to figure out how to make this. This was the Portal terrain set that was for his Portal-themed Tau army from the video games. And
oh, cool.
So if you look like right here, there's a stairwell leading down the center. And that's big enough for a 40mm Terminator model or equal size to get up on. And I had to make sure to cut this little area right here to make sure it was big enough so that when the stairwell, when you stood on it, the head of the model just didn't hit the roof. So that.
Now, got a quick question for you. When I did my city, I did it where it was stackable, and I did the staircases where I cut into the floor of the next one, so it actually had enough room for the figure to go up the stairs and be anywhere on the stairs. And you could literally remove levels if you needed to place the figures wherever they needed to be. And I saw those posts there. Did you set that up so you could lift it off, or is that still a one-piece setup?
That was a one-piece setup. It wasn't set up to lift up.
But you give them a lot of space, a lot of room, so that's awesome.
Yeah, I tried to make it. I decided to go for the open look because it made it feel more like it was the interior of a constantly moving laboratory. I don't know if you guys have played Portal.
Kind of sight all over the place.
I mean,
Portal is ridiculously addicting. The second game is my favorite. The first one's really good, but the humor. Mel, you would like Portal because the main antagonist has a British accent and he is hilarious.
It's a crazy computer. It's awesome.
I've seen Portal. I've seen I've seen Portal, and I've seen Portal. What's the rule? Rule 36? Rule 34? Yeah, I've seen Portal. I know a Portal. Trust me.
Okay.
Late night browsing.
It's a cool looking game.
I'll tell you one thing. Just quickly to cut in, Chunk. Yeah, just to answer that question, when I do terrain, I often start with the functional first, and then go for the aesthetics. So I'll get basically I'll approach it like, right, what does it need to do first? Where do models need to go? And once I've got that sorted, then it's like, right, how can I tart it up? How can I make it look cool?
Have you guys heard the term form follows function? It's a term that they use for architecture. And whenever you see a building that's super weird, if you go out and find out what that building does, you'll realize why it looks weird.
Yeah.
And that's part of how to make really cool terrain, is to make these unique, different shapes out there, but also have it kind of built into why it functions that way, like chemical factories and things like that.
Yeah. Chung, you were going to say something?
Oh, yeah. Andrew McCoyle wants to know more about your Grayskull Challenge.
Yeah, Grayskull Fitness Challenge. I'm going to go ahead and plug that. It is a 4-month fitness challenge. For those of you who haven't seen the videos, you can just check it out on my channel. There is a playlist that has all of the challenge videos thus far. You set a personal fitness goal. It can be weight loss. It can be muscle gain. It has to be substantial, but it's personal. So any amount that you deem worthy to go for in 4 months. You subscribe to our channel. You post your entry video on the forums telling us what you're going to do. And then in 4 months, everyone who succeeds at their fitness goal, I'm going to give away like $3 grand worth of cool prizes. All the lists of the prizes is in the video, but there's everything that you could possibly imagine in there. There's 40K, there's Infinity, there's terrain set is the grand prize. A custom, like full level, like maximum ability that I can do terrain set is going to go to one person who manages to get themselves where they want to be in fitness. I've lost 10 pounds this month myself because I'm taking part in it too.
Although I'm not participating, I am sort of participating from the sort of sidelines. I'm not making it public, but I am it has got me more concentrated, and I've gained at least an inch since I've started exercising.
Sweet.
I keep pulling it down, and it's slowly getting there. I will hit my achieved length, by the end of the challenge. But obviously, I can't partake in it because, YouTube won't let me show my measuring up videos. They get quite fair.
I was trying not to say nothing. Keep it PG.
Yeah, let's keep it PG.
PG went a long time ago. We may not have been swearing, but PG went a long time ago.
All right, let's see if we've got any more questions real quick. Let's see. I think there was one more. Oh, how would you turn a Gothic ship into a terrain piece? We'll answer that last one, and then we'll wrap it up.
A Gothic ship?
Yeah, I'm thinking he means sort of like a Space Hulk, in a way.
Or are we talking about Battlefleet Gothic ships, or...
What scale, yeah.
Yeah.
You're talking like a
144?
Well, let's approach it as if this was for, like, 28 millimeter. How would we incorporate the idea of a Gothic ship into a terrain piece? I kind of see it as, like, maybe a piece of a cockpit, or maybe... like the gun turrets on the sides of the big Gothic ships that they pilot in 40K that maybe got jettisoned when it got hit by something?
Well, I mean, to me, Gothic implies, quite large, when you think of Gothic ships. So, I mean, there's probably two alternatives. Either a battlefield that is strewn with damage from a downed ship, so various wreckage, and fires and all that sort of stuff, or you're looking at actually battling internally on the Gothic ship, in which case you're looking for more like the space corridors and manufacturing halls and engine rooms and that sort of thing. When you think about it.
Because I've got something kind of like this, and I'll show you what I did.
Ooh, okay.
I'd say, like, if you were going to go building it from scratch, you could do a lot of stuff like straws for piping. You could use those.
It's going to be an epic job, though, isn't it? Because, I mean, essentially, with that sort of project, you're scratch building a model and then putting it on a base and adding a bit of filler, really. I mean, that's the problem with wreckage.
If you look at Gothic architecture, if you add a lot of buttresses and a lot of piping for a sci-fi, the sci-fi setting, and then just add a lot of corrosion, rivets, etch in lots of plating with like a hot wire engraver, or you could glue down little squares of plastic hard. So there's a lot of different ways you could go about doing it. Oh, what is that?
This was going to be a Gothic-style Sisters of Battle, like medium-sized gunship. That
was what I was talking about.
I have a giant sword like a ram, like a sword ram that came out the front that I've got to find. It had actual. It's got wings that look like they flap. It's got actuators on the top and bottom, front and back. It's got guns. There was a steampunk game where they had guys with like air muskets that could line up and shoot. And this piece, if you can see the detailing on it, I had another piece that went across the top. And I wanted to have like a turret on top, and then a gun line of like Sisters of Battle, because you can see the fleur-de-lis all over it.
Yeah.
And then you can also see the side guns here and here. And then the back was going to have, I was going to have jets coming off the back. And if you see the top, it's got like an actual like conning tower, like on a battleship, where they can stand and look down. But this is how I would like represent it, and you might put like a couple of hill or ridges where it like just ground to a halt.
Yeah.
And you've got your piece right there.
So I'm just gonna say this. I am convinced that we could stick you on an island in the middle of nowhere, and you would find something to turn into some sort of awesome terrain piece.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, man, that guy's crazy.
I think we should.
Yeah.
I think we should do it as a challenge.
So Bill, when we
Stick
come
him on an island and he can't come up until he's built
They're going
a
to just
set from
pick me out of an
6x4.
airplane with a parachute, huh? Is this like one of those survival shows? Except I got to make a certain level of terrain to like get back to civilization.
we're gonna leave you with 5 X-Acto knives and a hot glue gun. That's it. That's all you got.
No, if you've got a hot glue gun, you'd have to have a bike with a dynamo on to power it. So you've got a bike while you do your hot gluing.
Oh yes.
So yeah, that's my contribution.
Very nice, mate. Very nice.
Okay,
Thank you.
so I do believe we've been going for about 2 hours now, so we're gonna call that one a very, very good first meetup.
Yes, yes. Oh, let me do one more thing. This is for Brush for Hire. Like you guys heard of Hertz molds, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
So Brush for Hire has these terrain molds, right? Like this one here, like this template here.
Mhm.
That has
They're
different
press
sizes
molds,
here.
right?
Yeah, like that, pretty much, right?
Yeah,
You got
yep.
the hex, you got bricks, right? And the set comes with, the bottom base, and then the scraper. Okay, so what you do is,
Cool.
Very
what
nice.
you do is grab some of this stuff, this DOS stuff. I don't know if you guys have seen this before. It's like molding clay or something.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's a clay. It's
Yeah,
a clay.
it's a clay. So you just take a bunch and just put it in and then scrape it down, and you'll have bricks within an hour or something. And then you just keep mass producing this stuff.
That's the way to
Yeah.
do it.
That's what I'm going to be using for the table.
I would
Yeah,
love to get a
and,
hold of some of
Yeah, get the whole set.
I
I mean,
love
here's the
that.
thing. The great thing about these is it's cheap. It's not Hertz Mold's price. You know what I'm saying? Not that it's a bad thing. Hertz Mold makes good stuff, but if you're on the cheap, he has different other templates too. But that's one of the things I was going to share in my
I'll
terrain
definitely
table
check that out.
build. Yeah,
I need to
Check
check
that
that
out.
out. Definitely.
really cool stuff.
Basically, it's shiny. We want it.
It's shiny, yeah,
Build
exactly,
it.
shiny.
Something that can make our life easier. Yeah, we want that. We need that.
Anything.
Okay,
Yeah.
so thanks for all of you for joining me on this this first hangout of ours.
Yeah,
we'll do
joining Matt because none of us are here, so ignore us.
Thanks for having us.
I was still waiting for him to get that. I was just waiting when he's gonna like hit him.
But everyone who watched us tonight, thank you for watching. We'll post information on what topics we'll be going over next month, and if we're going to have any other special guests. And just stay tuned, and we'll have a lot more cool terrain coming out on all our respective channels.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Gentlemen, before we go, what's topic for next time? What should we do? What would people like us to do?
Yeah, you know what? Let's let them.
Let the people decide.
So what
So
we'll
we'll
do
wait while someone types a comment, and the first one
liked
gets.
comment. The most liked suggestion.
And everybody's
I
gone.
think next one's topic should be Matt telling everyone what he's going to be doing for me.
Oh.
Non-sexually.
No.
God damn it, Mel.
$3,000 worth of terrain. Oh my God, that sounds. You call me crazy. I call you crazy.
Well, it's not just terrain. It's
yeah, it's a whole board, right?
Whole board.
That's amazing to me. That's huge.
Because it's going to be epic level, which is the maximum quality I do. So that's going to be it's going to be a pretty insane thing. I'm interested to see what someone requests.
Well,
yeah.
On the basis that we don't know if anyone's actually going to comment and give it a what do you reckon we should do if no one comments?
If our favorite types of terrain that we do, like what's our favorite theme? Like most people, when they think of me, they think of like Eldar stuff. You know, what's the kind of stuff that you guys either like prefer or are kind of known for? Because then we can really show the tricks and tips of what we're best at, and that'll help the community the most.
I'm really getting to the point where video games, that's my specialty. Taking video games and adapting them to the tabletop.
Yeah.
I'm done.
I'm watching Rise of Rome right now. I watch endless video games just for the visual content alone.
I use World of Tanks, my reference for blown up buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Yup.
Because they work perfectly. You just screen capture, get your little tank, and while everyone else is battling, I'm driving around
on my
the building,
list, I want to
looking
do
at
a
it, trying to get as
Fallout.
much frames as possible.
Yeah, on my list, I want to do a Fallout table.
Oh, that would be
Fallout 3.
That's
I was like, I'd be like, oh, that'd be a cool fucking table. Oh, sorry,
Okay.
Well, I want to do Mustafar.
Idea for what?
That would be cool.
Idea for a different theme. Yeah, we should all pick a game and say how we do that table.
That would be cool. Oh, Mel, I was gonna tell you guys. I don't know if I'm gonna be on the next show, but you guys should make it a constant thing, the $35 thing, right? So pick a theme of the table, and then go down $30 for that certain table. Every show.
Good idea.
It'd be a segment.
Not a bad idea.
Recurring segment. So I think
Very
I should do
good
that.
idea.
Let's chat afterwards and we can figure it all out.
Yeah.
So, guys, I think people have heard us
Wait, did you guys
ramble
not
for
shut off the camera yet? Oh, shit.
No, we're still live, dude. Put your clothes back on. Put your clothes back on, John.
I'm trying. Hold on.
All right. So, we'll go ahead and just comment below what you want to see, and we will announce what we decide to post up for the next topic for next month's Hangout. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks, guys.